Hello everyone, pattern-collections.com is the website that I'm using. Going to pattern focus and down we go all the way down here to Payito. This is an interesting one. Easy to do, and let me just show you the artwork part first, I think. So on this side of this line, say they divided up their tile into two portions. On this side, they've done their initial dots closer together, a variety of sizes, and they've colored them in black before they've done the pattern around the outside. This side, they've done them more even in size, further apart, and they've colored them different colors. So it's showing two different ways you could do this. I really like this tile quite a bit. I like the composition of it, and I think I may do something similar. Anyway, I don't know. First step we're going to do, it shows us drawing this as the first step. And it's kind of confusing. That's why I had us looking at the artwork first, because I think the best thing to do is to start with putting your dots in wherever you want them and whatever sizes you want them. And then you connect your dots. Can you see where she's connected her dots here? Right there, 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 there. Okay. So you connect your dots either directly with each other, straight like that. Here, like this one, they're all connected straight in a row here. These are connected straight in a row here, but then there's an intersection there that doesn't have a dot. Same thing here. So you can then draw your lines however you want them. They can be straight, they could be curved a little bit. I don't know if it would work really well with it super curved, but I don't see why you couldn't have a curve. And then it shows you coloring in your dots. And then it shows you just making an aura around what you already have on the page. Just aura. Okay? And then you just keep going around and making auras until you have filled the space. And that's all it is. It's a very simple pattern. But I like how it's shown two different ways here. And I think I may do that on my page. So I'm going to turn on my light. Check my phone. Sorry, I have to go to work today, so I got to make sure I'm keeping track. I heard a buzz. That was not my alarm. Okay. But it is almost 11 o'clock. I have to keep track of the time. Okay, so I'm going to make myself a bit of a border here. And I like how that that they've divided it, their thing into half. I like it. I'm going to do it like that. So I have a bigger part and a smaller part. And then I'm going to make the bigger part the ones with the colored dots. You know, I'm going to draw them in gently in. In pencil. Maybe one here. And I'm going to stick one here. Just trying to make a nice balance of bigs and smalls. Something like that. Can you guys see what I'm kind of thinking about? I may or may not make those exactly in those spots, but I'm kind of thinking of that. And then I want to think about how I might want to connect these. Think something like this. Maybe even like that. Okay, I think that's how I'm going to lay out my things. And the reason I'm doing it in pencil is because if I don't like the layout, if I don't like the composition, I can change it before I ink it. Some people don't like doing that. They want to just go straight in with pen. They think that this is not the appropriate way to do these kinds of drawings, but you know, this is how I feel like doing it. I'm going to work with a Micron PN pen today. I have all sorts of pens. I use all different kinds, all different sizes. This is just the one I feel like working with today. And you'll notice that I'm not drawing directly on my pencil line at all times. Oops, I'm a little off there, but that's okay. You know what? Maybe I'll go ahead and make them all a little off. Now they're the same. I'm going to double line that. I want to make that a little bit thicker. Where I'm dividing my bigs from my smalls. I'm going to go this way with this one. I was going to go that way, but I think I want to go this way. I don't want those two to meet. So I'll go that way with this instead of this way. Something like that. I want another line here. I'm going to go ahead and do this one into the corner, even though I added one there. I'm good with that. I think I want one here too. Okay. And now these ones. I like having these partial ones coming off the page like that into the border. Like that. And then we're going to something like that. Okay. See how I've done those? Now I'm going to erase all my pencil marks because I did not follow them all. How did I get a smudge of ink there? Don't know. Oh well. We'll disguise it with signature or something. Okay. Next. The second step is to color them, which I find interesting. So let's do that. I'm going to use my brush pen for these ones. And I am going to leave a little spot of highlight. My highlights are going to be, I want them all to be the same general direction, so they're going to be facing this little weird spot here. I don't know what that spot is, but that's where my highlights are going to be. On that side of my just like a zoo. Let's do a question out of the book. I did those already. If you were to be a news correspondent posted to any foreign country, where would you like to go? Right now, I wouldn't mind going to Iceland. You guys been watching the volcano in Iceland? Very cool. I don't like how that one went. That one did not suit my fancy here. I need to fix it. That happens sometimes with the brush pen. It gets a little wayward. Yeah, I'd love to go to Iceland. And I suspect that it'll be a fairly easy job, other than the hike to the volcano. I don't know. Maybe there's a lot of news to be had in Iceland. It would be a challenge with the Icelandic language. It's very reminds me quite a bit of the Norwegian, Finland languages. Maybe a little, almost not Welsh. It doesn't have those sounds, but it's very. There's a distinct Icelandic language that would probably be a barrier to me, but no, I'm always up for a challenge. And then these ones, they had them colored in all sorts of fun colors. We're just going to grab a color, whatever color feels right, and I'm going to do this, and I'm going to put a little white where I want my highlights, because then it'll be lighter in those spots just to start with. And I'll remember to be lighter with my pencil in those spots. And I'll probably come back with the white again. Just like that. And white on top. Blend that out a little. I like it. Like how that turned out. Okay, so let's do that for all of them. Let's use this color. I suspect that with that question, Iceland isn't the first place that you guys probably thought of. If you were playing along with the questions, what was the place that you guys thought of? Where would you like to be a news correspondent to? What's the next question? If you had to choose a time in history when overall things were worse than any other single time, when would you say that it was? So my opinion on the worst period of time in history. Wow. There's a lot of bad ones. I would say overall for the whole world, or just in the United States, because those are two different questions. I don't know enough about the history of other countries around the world. My education is very Eurocentric, Euro and American centric. So when we did like history studies, it was very much centered around European and American history. I know very, very little about any of the Asian countries. I know very, very little about Africa or South America. So I guess I'll have to answer the question US based. And that the Great Depression probably was the worst, definitely one of the worst. I think it had the largest impact on the most people, especially the worst impact on innocent people like women, like children. I was going to say women and children, but well, back then women and children, because, you know, the women didn't have a whole lot of say in what was going on in political and economic realms. But I think it had the greater, all the wars had a terrible impact on us. But I think the Great Depression probably was the worst. With the Dust Bowl, with just poverty became rampant. And I think that would be the time I would least like to live. Not that I would want to live in any of the other times. I don't know. And then, you know, in 10 years, people will look back on these last 2 years and may also say that this was the worst globally, that we are currently living through the worst with the pandemic. It's been a very long time since there's been a global pandemic. So we could be living through it. Let's see. What color do I want? Let's go for another dark one. I don't have a dark blue. Let's do a dark blue. Like that. And I'm going to go for a dark red because I don't have a dark red there yet either. I have like a pinky red. I don't have a red. Something like that. Okay. Now that we've got that part out of the way, we can do our auras, and then we'll be done. It's not going to be not going to be hard to do. It's just going to be maybe tedious. If you guys want to fast forward, feel free. I'm going to zoom in a little bit so you can see. So I'm just going to go here and around and here. And this is going to be very relaxing for me. Because it's just going around what I've already done. Oh, I should have gone around this. Oh, I've already goofed up. Like that. So I'm going to just fill this space by following around the edges. just like so. When you run out of space, you stop. Just like that. Simple auras. That's all there is to the rest of this whole thing. Okay, so like I said, if you guys want to fast forward through this part, feel free, because I won't blame you. Sometimes it's easier for me to draw one way than another. So make sure you turn your page if you have to really get the shape you want. And you'll see these turn into different shapes as you get closer to the middle, because you can't quite do them all exactly the same. You just fill in. That's all we do. Just fill in. But doing auras like this is just very relaxing. So now you don't have to think. You've put the dots in, you've put your lines in, and now all you have to do is go around the edges. So you don't have to think anymore about what you're going to do next. You're just going to follow what you've already put down. Easy peasy. Try to make them sort of the same size spacing, but they don't have to be exact. Obviously, you're not a robot, so you can't do it exact. Do the best you can. But for me, drawing toward myself, I am more stable than when I draw away from myself. So if I have to change the position of my paper, absolutely I will do that. Okay, next page. Let's read another question. If you could take away the vocal cords of any person, who would it be? Oh, Lord. My boy is calling, but I can't answer right now. Hey, sweetie, I'll call you back in a minute. What was the question? I got distracted. Vocal cords. Take away the vocal cords of any person. Who would it be? I don't know. Is there somebody with an annoying voice? I'm sure there are. I just don't. Because it would have to be, for me, it would have to be somebody with an annoying voice. I think the question could also be interpreted as somebody you don't want to ever hear from again. But there are other ways to communicate besides voice. So they could still have a voice, a platform, without using their vocal cords. So that wouldn't, if it's somebody that I am not particularly fond of with their ideology or opinions, I still wouldn't be able to silence them by silencing their vocal cords, because there's always things like social media and so forth. So it would have to be somebody who has an actual voice that I don't like to hear. And I just can't think of it. Call him back in a minute. I will call my boy back in a minute as soon as I'm done here. Gives me motivation to kick this into gear, right? You guys have been watching long enough, and I probably was completely off screen because I wasn't paying attention. Oh, that has gone. That one right there has gone weird, and it keeps following that weird line. Not too sure why my hand keeps following that weird line. That's better. That's It's interesting, because these are further apart, I find that I'm drawing these lines further apart as well. They're not as close together, which is, I think is interesting. But it wasn't intentional that way, but that seems to be what I'm doing. Oh, no. That wasn't supposed to touch right there. Oh well. Next question is weird. Is if you could rename your hometown, what would you call it? I don't need to rename my hometown. I like my hometown. I like its name. I'm not telling you my hometown name. Ha ha ha. Okay, one more section and then we'll do a little shading and then we'll be done. This is taking me longer than I thought it would, actually. I thought it would be a faster drawing. But it's all these little lines. Take a while. Just like that. And we're done. Going to Payito. We're going to do a little bit of shading. I'm going to do shading here where these create like a V. Just in there. All around. I might not do all of them, but the ones that are like prominent to me. Just like that. And some over here. Just like so, I think. Something like that. And just a little bit of smudging in those spots. Makes it more three-dimensional. You don't have to do the shading. It looks fine without it, but I like it with a little bit of shading. Just like that, gives it just the slightest bit of dimension. And then I am going to give it some shading here because I feel like that dark one is on top of this lighter one. So I'm going to give it a little shading right along that line. Just like that. So now that one's on top of that one. They all have a little bit of a dimension, not a lot, just a little, and I think that's enough. All right, you guys have a great day. I will see you on the next video. We've got a one-day divide between the end of this month's videos and the beginning of next month's videos. There's an odd day. So I have an idea. I have to go print out a few things and I will be back. I'll see you on the next video. It will be a whole couple of days for you, a couple minutes for me, and I'll be back. You guys have a great day. Go out and do something nice for somebody today. Make the world a better place. Let's bless the world with kindness, and I'll see you later. Bye-bye.